It's time to go on offense. September 26th is National Public Lands Day. A coalition of conservation groups, recreation organizations, and people like you and me are aiming to deliver 1 million signatures to Congress and state houses. 3 demands: no sell-offs, no backroom deals, no giveaways. Join me as we explore the Save Public Lands campaign. I'm your host, Missy Rentz, and this is the Parks Podcast. I'm excited to welcome Fitz Cahall, who is the host of Dirtbag Diaries, to this episode of the Parks Podcast. Fitz, welcome.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, Missy.
So you are here to launch a huge initiative to save our public lands, and it's called Save Public Lands. Tell me a little bit about it.
Yeah, I know. It's a lot. I was like, oh, wow, when you frame it like that. It's wow. Yes. Every year there's National Public Lands Day. It's on September 26th. This year, it's harder to celebrate, right? It has been a really challenging year. If you love national parks, if you love our forests, our deserts, these landscapes that just define us as Americans, it's been difficult to watch because they've been under near constant attack. There's been rollbacks on places like Bears Ears National Monument. Last week, there's an attempt to rescind the roadless rule. It's just one thing after another. And there got to be this point where I think a lot of us in the community just felt like we have played a lot of defense, and it is time to go on the offense. It is time to let our elected officials know that we won't tolerate this kind of corruption and being cut out of the process. I don't think any American really elected this last Congress or this president to be like, yeah, I would like to torch all of our public lands and like do this. It wasn't that wasn't part of the campaign. That wasn't something Americans wanted. And I don't know why we've gotten that. And I think that right now our feeling is that it's time to speak up, because we've been doing that, but it's time to speak up in a way that lets our elected officials know that we are paying attention to this beyond an issue by issue basis or a landscape by landscape basis. So essentially what we've done is we've created this broad coalition between old school conservation groups, everyday people like me, recreation groups, hunters and anglers, and we are setting out to generate 1 million letters that we are going to deliver to state houses and to Congress in DC right around Public Lands Day, this September 26th. Will that change everything? No, we need to keep participating. This won't save public lands once and for all, but there is a moment right now where we can say, we will remember what happens this November. We will remember like how you've treated our landscapes and these places that mean so much to us, that help us enjoy ourselves, that help us heal, that are this incredible shared resource that not many countries in this world necessarily have the way we do. And so that's what we're up to, is we're taking it back to the politicians. We're gathering around 3 demands: no more public land sell-offs, no more giveaways to foreign mining companies like they did in the Boundary Waters, no more backroom deals that cut everyday people like you and me out of this process, because we have been voicing our disapproval and they aren't listening. Yes. And now it's time to remind them that we are not happy and we will be there in November.
When you're looking for 1 million signatures, which to me, I feel like that's so easy when you look at what we've been doing. And this is a little bit about celebrating the public land.
I'm glad you say that's easy.
Come on, we got this. Yeah. Putting it out in the universe. No. But I think some people will be, I get posts, and I'm sure you do too, that it's like, oh, do signatures really matter? But then every time I do advocacy episodes, the people who are on the Hill doing the actual face-to-face are saying, yeah, it matters. The pressure to our representatives and hearing the voices, squeaky wheel concept, that matters. That makes a big difference. So this is a huge initiative at, again, being on the offensive to say, we're watching you. Elections are coming and we're watching you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Part of it is that there is that side of it, is like, I think sometimes it feels like we are just yelling into a void. And the truth is we're not. If you follow what's happened in public lands, I think for me, like one of the big things is the Boundary Waters in northern Minnesota. That is the most visited wilderness in America. So many people grew up going canoeing there. If you're from the Midwest or something like that, this is a place that was like a deep introduction to wild spaces for people. And there's been an ongoing controversy about whether to put a kind of mine that is very polluting right on the edge of it. It's also on the edges of two giant watersheds, two of the biggest in North America. It's the copper sulfide mining, very toxic kind of mining, and it just doesn't make sense. There have been protections in place, they've been removed, but they spent a year trying to remove those protections. It was a hard fight. That campaign to stop that stopped it multiple times. And that's not a done deal. There's awesome turnarounds on that because people show up and they do it. But that said is like, it's designed to make it feel like we're shouting into the void. The truth of it is the power rests inside of all of us. If we care about these places, if we care about a place like Yosemite or Yellowstone or Grand Canyon or Shenandoah or Everglades, all these places, they're going to listen eventually.
Yes.
Like if enough of us make noise. Traditionally, this wasn't a Democrat or a Republican thing. It's only really been in the last 15 years that it's become this way, where our public lands are this weird political football that are being tossed back and forth. The polling shows that's not how Americans feel about this. We love these places and we want to protect
So why
it.
now? Why now?
Why now? Part of it is that it's been a tough 2 years. And it is really clear we have an election coming up. And there have been champions on both sides of this aisle. There are people that are Republican and there are people that are Democrat that go for public lands. And some of those people will be there in January. Some of them won't. Many people are retiring. But right now is a moment where we get to say, this matters to us. This is a voting issue. This is an issue we will care about. Once you are elected, you will hear for us. So part of it is that this Congress is going to have more new faces than any Congress besides the first one. So no matter who wins, there's going to be a totally new set of people there. And they need to hear right out of the gate that this is an issue that we care about, that we will not tolerate selling off our public lands. We will not tolerate acts where you take something that belongs to many of us and then essentially give that away to a foreign mining company. Are you kidding me? No.
Yeah.
It's like, we're not going to tolerate, and we're not going to tolerate the backroom deals because that's what's been happening. So this is the moment to do that because it has been an onslaught in a really bad direction for 2 years. And it is time to shift this narrative and time to change it.
So this launches today, August 25th, 2026. What do you want people to do?
Yeah. First off, there's a link in the bio here. We'll put it there. There's the letter. It's super simple. We've got 3 demands. I said them. No sell-offs, no backroom deals, no giveaways. Save it. Share it. Tell 5 friends. Put it on your social media feed. You were saying this is going to be easy. 1 million people. I don't know if it's going to be easy, but we're going to try. And part of that is people, if you have been touched by one of these places, if you have through the tunnel into Yosemite and seen El Cap appear in front of you and been like moved by it, or if you have witnessed the wildlife in Yellowstone, or you've been lucky enough to go up to Alaska to Denali National Park, like all these places, this is the moment to say, hey, this matters. This matters to me. And even if you haven't, even if this is something you hope to do one day, this is the moment that matters. This is what you can do. It's not a lot. We'll send out some updates. There's going to be some potential opportunities to volunteer and participate on National Public Lands Day. We'd love to keep you informed about that, but it's not a lot. You don't have to go learn a lot. You don't have to go do anything. It's just like, I think we all know how we feel about these places. And so it's, if you show up, you sign the thing, you share it, that's incredible.
Yeah. And I think so often people do think of some of the amazing parks you've mentioned, but public lands is also your local forest. It's also Oregon pipe cactus and Francis Perkins and all of these much smaller public lands places that are in your backyard that we maybe don't think about as public lands because we just see them all the time. And no matter if you're on the East Coast, West Coast, North, South, all of these are at risk right now. So I think it's so important what you are doing. And I checked out the form, and you all, this is your first name, your last name, your zip code, your email address, submit. It is the easiest letter I have signed. We'll put the link in the show notes and all of our social posts that you can see them. How are the signatures going to make a difference? And what happens when we sign these petitions? It's a 5-week initiative. Then what's going to happen with this? What are you guys doing?
Yeah. So part of this big thing is that a lot of this came out of a lot of work that has been happening behind the scenes between different groups of Americans, right? We don't always vote the same. We don't always see eye to eye. We come from different sort of parts of the country, rural, urban, all these things. What we have found is that when we show up together to DC, when we show up together in state houses, and we are a mix of voters, we are a mix of people that care about different things. Some people love hunting, some people just like watching birds in the woods, some people are like avid national park visitors. Like when we all show up together, it becomes extremely hard for them to ignore us. It is like they pay attention when that happens. So in terms of what happens to these signatures is we're taking them. Maybe we'll even print them out on those old the tear off printer things. Yeah, like the biggest box. I want to make the biggest box possible, like something we have to bring in on a dolly or something like that.
That would be awesome.
And I want to deliver. I want to bring that to DC, and I want to bring it to the state houses. And so that those signatures are there. On top of that, it's like it is more strategic because at some point, a lot of our wonderful not-for-profits that represents these landscapes that do the work in DC for us, for the community, they need energy, they need fodder to make those arguments. And so having those, we're not trying to fundraise, we're not trying to spam, we're not trying to do any of that. What we're trying to do is we're trying to give them the resources that they need to go make the case in DC to elected officials, to make the case in state houses, to people say, hey, this matters. Look, these people are in your zip code. They care about it. And so that's how these signatures will get used. They're like a testament to what we're doing. And they're different in a way than the simple phone call to a senator. Phone calls are great. Don't get me wrong. That's an important thing. But those kind of come and go issue by issue. And this is like a collection of saying like, no, this isn't issue by issue. The last 2 years is not okay. And this is what this is a representation of. Those signatures are a representation of the cumulative just frustration of this entire community of tens and millions of people that love public lands.
So Fitz, you're donating so much of your time and passion to organize all of this, but let's go a little bit personal here. Yeah. What do the public lands mean to you?
But for me, it's like, I don't think I can really separate public lands out of my life. And that's like, I understand that some people might be like, what, really? But you're like, no, it's how I've made my career. It's how I have my friends like this. Like I was a climbing guide when I was younger, and was a passionate climber who spent tons of time in Yosemite. And like, these are like the people I know, these are my lifelong friends. And it's all been based and rooted in my time on public lands. And as a kid, that wasn't really part of my life. Like that wasn't there. Like I liked being outside, but I was in Florida. It was like the beach. I'm sure we went to the Everglades once, but it just wasn't really a part of my life. And when public lands became a part of my life, when these spaces, these parks showed up through climbing and just through a passion for being outside, it was like something lit up inside of me. And it changed my creativity. It changed my outlook. It gave me this ability to be curious. I've spent all this time going to different communities and learning about different things because of this passion. So for me, they really truly are part of who I am. And for me not to stand up for it right now, I wouldn't be being true to myself.
So we're looking for people to go to savepubliclands.us to sign the petition. And I'm going to say, and share this episode, share posts, follow all of us, and let's get 1 million signatures and let's make a difference. To wrap up each episode, I do a speed round of questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
Answer with what first comes to mind. What is your earliest public land memory?
One of the earliest, it's not the first, but it's one of the most impactful, was driving through the tunnel to Yosemite and just seeing El Cap come through. Your eyes, they tighten down, they're in the dark, you're squinting, and then all of a sudden you're like, it's like this giant blast of light. And then all of a sudden El Cap just comes into focus. And as a young climber, you see that, and it is simultaneously the most terrifying and inspiring thing you have ever witnessed. And I am not alone in this. This happens to non-climbers too, but you can't help but feel something in your heart. And for me, it just awakens this something that is so deep inside of me, so human inside of me, of curiosity that wants to explore, that wants to say, I want to be up there. I want to see what that's like. And so for me, that's probably one of my earliest and most powerful memories.
And what made you love the parks and public lands?
You spend so many nights out there, so many sunrises out there, so many, just all the feelings, they become a part of who you are. Like it's a little bit like, I don't know, it's all just wrapped up in the same thing of those cold mornings, of those starry nights, wind you wish would stop, but you're like, it all feels so big. That's something that I think sometimes the modern world is taking away from us, is that we all exist in climate controlled space. A lot of us exist in climate controlled spaces and behind desks and all these things. And to have something, the ability to step out into that very human world, just, it's, I don't know, for some reason, I think we try to separate nature and humanity all the time. And the truth is, humans are part of nature. This is where we belong. And I think that the parks for me are they're just the absolute representation of that reality.
What park or public land have you yet to visit, but it's on your bucket list, and why?
So I visited there before, but I really would love to do the 99-mile waterway canoe path through the Everglades that I always wanted to do as a kid. My family they were an outdoorsy. It's like one of those things that I really hope I get to do one day and I'll make happen. But that's one thing I'm really excited to do.
What 3 must-haves do you pack for a visit to public lands?
I'm notoriously bad about this. I'll be honest. I don't think you need a lot, frankly put. It's like a good pair of shoes, your phone so you can take photos, and then I run a little bit cold, so I always bring an extra layer. But you don't need a whole lot.
What's your favorite campfire activity?
I just love talking. I love stories. The truth of it is, I run the podcast, the Dirtbag Diaries, and the idea is that it is a digital campfire, that it is those campfire stories that I grew up with around campfires in Yosemite and campfires out in the desert and the climbing areas out there. And so for me, it's just that sort of gathering of people where there's something where everyone is very present, everyone is not checked out. It is quiet. There's space for people to share. And that is amazing. That's my favorite thing, is just talking around a campfire.
Tent, camper, or cabin?
What about just a sleeping bag, sleeping
I
underneath
love
the
it.
stars? Yeah.
Sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay.
All of them are good though. I love
Yeah.
all of them.
Are you hiking with or without trekking poles?
It depends on how much weight I'm carrying. I would much rather prefer to hike without them, but my knees are getting old, frankly. And so if I'm backpacking and we're going up big hills, I break out the trekking poles. But in general, I leave them at home if I'm just walking with no weight on my back.
What's your favorite trail snack?
I don't know. It's so funny. I think probably a lot of people out there are similar, but like the kids, and you're like, you have the power pellets, which are like AKA like Skittles, M&Ms, Sour Patch Kids. And I never had a sweet tooth, but now I'm always kind of get excited when the Sour Patch Kids get broken out. So not something I'm proud to admit, but that's the truth.
What is your best animal sighting?
I remember once being down in the Gifford Pinchot National Forest, which is by St. Helens. And it's a very wild part of this country. It's like where the idea of Sasquatch came out of, and you get the feeling of why that would be there when you're down there. It's very old forests and things like that. And I remember one time just coming around a corner and moving quickly and then be like, oh, there's a big dog. It's running away from me. And then be like, God, the muscles on that big dog are really, that's a fit dog. And then being like, that's not a dog. And that's a cougar, and I'm running after it right now. And I'm literally 10 feet running down a trail behind a cougar. And that was like really cool. Fortunately, it just stopped and then ran into the woods on the other side, and I didn't see it again. But
Wow.
that got my attention, being that close to a big animal like that, for sure. Yeah.
What is your favorite sound in our public lands?
I think it's not quiet. Does that make sense? Like, I think it's like really easy to be like, oh, it's just silence. And if you listen, it's not silent, but it is subtle. And it's that subtleness of hearing water ever so slightly echoing off a canyon wall deep in the Desolation Canyon, out of Canyonlands. It is those little sort of acoustics in audio that you hear of a quiet breeze going through pines on a summer night. It's those things. It's not quiet, or it's not silence, but it's quiet.
Yeah. And what's the greatest gift that our public lands give to us?
Oh, the fact that we have access to all of this. Like, it's not really behind any wall. This is like a part of like what we have. And that's it's not always the case in a lot of other parts of this world, is that like we have all this incredible access to places that we can explore, that can restore us, that can where we can create memories. That is it. That's a gift, and I wish more of us like took advantage of it. And a lot of people do. It's wonderful how many people do, but it still is like I wish more people had access to it. I wish more people got to experience it, because it is time in nature. It actually makes us more human, frankly put.
I love it. Check out Fitz and Dirtbag Diaries, but more importantly, visit savepubliclands.us, sign the petition, forward it to your friends and family, ask them to sign the petition, and let's get to 1 million plus in no time. Fitz, thanks so much for being part of this podcast today.
Thanks for having me, Missy. I really appreciate it.
That's it for today's episode. Until next time, we'll see you in the parks. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, please be sure to like and share on your favorite podcast platform. Music for the Parks podcast is performed and produced by Porter Hardy. For more information, please follow us at The Parks Podcast or visit our website at theparkspodcast.com.